Joining me now is the project manager, CHAI, and the public health expert, Omotoke Akono. Nice to have you join me. Did I get the surname correctly? Akon. Akon. Okay. Yes. Yoruba names are so interesting.
Thank you.
All right, now let's get into this issue. Now, the moment you mentioned the issue of population, there seemed to be anxiety in the minds of people. And then when you narrow it down to the issue of family planning, for instance, a lot of people feel that there is a deliberate attempt to prevent them from, procreation and expanding and so on. Talk to us about the agenda and what objectives, the benefits of family planning, for instance.
Okay. So family planning, which is also known as child spacing, yes, is actually being able to make a decision that the couple, both the husband and the wife, should be able to come together to actually make a decision of the number of children they want to have, okay, and as at when they want to. That means the number of space, the number of years they want to have in between their children. And this actually transcends into every major sector, both on the health of the family, and on the economy and the social aspect of the whole nation as a whole.
A lot of people think the moment you mention child spacing and family planning, it's about population control. Is that what it's all about?
No, okay, it's not all about just population control, right, because it affects every area of your life. Like I said earlier on, it also affects your health, which is very important, especially for the mothers, because the increased number of fertility also increases the risk of maternal mortality. So for the mother, it has an impact. Also on the family and the husband too. Having excess number of children also means that you're going to have to use a lot of funds to cater for children. So planning your family actually helps with financial.
Well, when you use the word excess number of children, okay, what number is excess?
So according to the National Demographic Health Survey of 2018 that was released this year, an average Nigerian woman will give birth to at least 5.3 children in her reproductive age, which is too much.
Wow. So what is recommended?
So according to a lot of developed nations, it's recommended that you should actually give birth to a number of children you can actually cater for.
Conveniently.
Exactly.
Conveniently. So that convenience now would depend on the different issues around. But talk to us. At what point do you start thinking of the family planning and all of that?
As soon as you're planning to get married.
Okay.
You should actually, even before you get married, as a single person, you should actually think of course, everybody plans their future. So as you're thinking of planning your future, you should actually start thinking about, okay, how many number of children do I want to have, irrespective of how much, because how much you earn is important to know how many number of children you want to have, because you want to give your children the best of education, you want to be able to cater for their needs, because you find out that having numerous, I don't want to use the word numerous, but a lot of children actually causes you won't be able to cater for the children, leads to malnutrition, which could actually lead to under 5 mortality. So it actually goes across your whole life.
Because it puts a pressure on your resources.
Yes, even for a nation, like the growth rate, the population rate, if it's higher than the number of is higher than death rate, you find that and the number of economic growth. So if population growth is higher than economic growth, you find an imbalance in resources and adequacies. So therefore, there's a challenge there. So, family planning actually helps, not just on population. People say that telling you to reduce number of children you're having, but actually it's for your own, each person's benefit, for you to actually be able to know what is good for each.
All right, that's great. Omotoke Akono, thank you so much for coming on the program. Thanks for your insight.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Joining me now is the project manager, Chai, and a public health expert, Omotoke Akono. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you very much.
Now, when you look at this part of the country, where you talk about family planning, you look at our religion, you look at our tradition, you look at our culture, it's alien, because some people will tell you, my church does not agree with this kind of things and all of those. So if we're talking about population explosion and looking at family planning to stem or to try to contain population explosion, where do we begin, especially when it comes to educating people to understand what this is?
Okay, thank you very much. while we know that there are a lot of myths and misconceptions around family planning, and also, like you said, our religion and all also plays a huge factor in people not wanting to uptake this service. That's why my organization, Child Health Advocacy Initiative, also working on this family planning project from Partnership for Advocacy for Child and Family Health. This is where we have come into, where we decide to work at the grassroots level with these community women, so that we actually get some of these community women to act as advocates, to talk to their fellow community women. Because like you said, if we come from the high halls, from the ministry, they look at you, you're educated, but if they get one of their own fellow neighbor talking to them about it, and letting them know the benefits of why they need to uptake the services, because they need to plan their family, they need to be able to ensure that they give birth to just the adequate number of children they can cater for.
But some will tell you that children are gifts from God, and that the God that gave them will also provide. How do you address such?
Well, it's true that children are gifts from God. I don't think God will be happy with us if we bring children to this world that you cannot cater for. So it is paramount that you ensure you give birth to the number of children you can cater for, and that is why we also try to preach to people that planning your home is not a sin. Planning your home is not a sin. In fact, the Bible even talks about having future goals and ambitions. You need to be able to plan your life.
So how challenging has it been on the field now? You have an organization that's trying to champion this. How has it been? What has been the reception that you're getting from the grassroots? Because that's where we begin.
Okay, so the reception has been dwindling because some people actually accept, and of course, like you said, some people would not. Well, it's okay that some people accept, and the truth, we let them know the benefits to you as a person, to your family, and also to the community as a whole. So that's what we do. We can't actually force people. We can only advocate to them. Yeah. We can only advocate to them and let them see why it's necessary for them to uptake the services. And it's good that some churches are even accepting it. Like some churches have actually given us invites to come and talk to them on a Sunday, let them talk to their members. So I think it might take a while, but I believe we will get there and people are going to uptake this service.
So how many states has the organization covered, and what is the plan to, spread the word
to
other states?
Basically, we're in 8 states, and the plan to scale up, it's under work. Let me just say that. But basically, the project is going on in 8 states, and I think the uptake is good. We've been seeing an increase in the number of people going for this.
But does your organization give advice on the type of family planning methods that the women should engage in? Because that's another fear for some women, because we've seen where women bleed, some does different reactions to these things.
That's why I said there are a lot of myths and misconceptions, because most of these women haven't even gone for this service. What they are talking about is hearsay. So that's why we advocate to them. First of all, we tell you to find there are different types of family planning. There are the injectables, there's the oral pills, and there's also the implant. But each person, each person has to go for his own type. There's no one size fits all. So you have to go to the health center, talk to a family planning expert. They'll check your weight, they'll check a lot of things. They'll test you and know which of the methods is actually best for you. So you can have that discussion with your family planning expert. So we advocate that they go to the health centers and government-approved centers to go for this service. They shouldn't just go to any nearby hospital or chemist for it. You go to a government-approved center so you can actually talk to an expert, a family planning expert, who will actually help make the best decision and choose the best method for you as a person.
Thank you so much, Omotoke Akon, for your time on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you very much.
Now, joining me now is the project manager, CHAI, and a public health expert, Omotoke Akon. It's nice to have you join me right now.
Thank you.
Now, when it comes to issues of family planning, because a lot of people have been talking about the issue of family planning being the central point of how to plan, the future for the family and for the economy and so on. How much of awareness about public planning and how much of acceptance of the family planning are Nigerians imbibing?
So there's a lot of awareness put out there, and recently WHO has also come up and told a lot of especially sub-Saharan African countries, to actually make family planning a matter of, to reposition it to a matter of immediate urgency, and something should be made a matter of priority for the national and our local agenda, so that there's a lot of awareness. So awareness is being put out there for the members of the community and the nation, and also for the government to also play their own part on making this commodities free, especially because when we talk about things like family planning, we find out that a lot of people that actually have the high fertility rate are actually among the non-educated and maybe less privileged. So we have to make these commodities available to them at almost no cost, so that they can also access those services.
In partnering towards this agenda or this project, how are the stakeholders, because you talk about government, and certainly organizations like yours, different international partners certainly have to come together, but how much of that synergy is being created?
Oh yes, a lot of that synergy is being created, because when you want to do anything, especially like a state like Lagos State, you actually have to partner with the ministry and let them know what you as a partner actually wants to do, and it has to fit into their own agenda, so that there's a synergy, and then efforts are not being duplicated. So yes, there's always synergy in what you're doing, so that you don't duplicate efforts.
In planning the family and planning the future, what are the first things to have at the corner of your mind when you're deciding, I want to, either adopt this style of family planning or the other style?
So one major thing is, like I always say, when you want to, especially when you want to adopt a style of family planning, you actually have to speak to a family planning expert, because one style, one method cannot fit all.
Cannot fit everyone.
Yes, because we have some hormonal methods and we have some that are non-hormonal methods, and anybody that is like above 75 kg, or if you actually are predisposed to hypertension, you're actually not supposed to be on hormonal ones, because hormonal, that's one of the major myths people always talk about, that there's weight gain with hormonal contraceptives, which is true, but the weight gain is supposed to be like a size bigger, like from a size 8 to a size 10. But if you see a size 8 going to a size 14 in less than 1 or 2 years, that means there are other underlying factors. And like we always say, that there's no drug that doesn't have its own side effects. So there are side effects to family planning, but they are all manageable, and they are not life-threatening. So I think it's something people can, and the benefits also outweighs the risk, so it's what people can imbibe.
All right. How does beliefs, like our cultural and religious beliefs in the God factor and the ancestry factor, how do all of this compound or assess the issue?
Yes, it does. They are they are actually a major challenge to people actually uptake of this service. However, we do not let that deter us. We still try to educate people and let them know that, you see, things happened in our ancestors. You can't keep living our life. Like, the only inevitable thing in this life is change. We have to be able to embrace change. Because your father had 11 children doesn't mean you have to have 11 children.
Some people want to break the record of their dad.
Do you want, looking back at your father that had 11 children, all his children, would you want all your children to also come up like that? How? Because one major thing we always say that family planning actually helps in us achieving our sustainable development goals. And for example, sustainable development goals, first of all, talks about zero poverty, no poverty. And if we're going to talk about no poverty, that means our economic growth has to be, our population growth has to be at par with our economic growth.
All right. We have to leave it here now, Motoke Okonwo. Thank you so much for your insight into this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right.